Hello, this is Crystal. I'm with Home Transaction Group at the eXp Realty. Today we are at the Next Mortgage and I'm meeting Jeremiah today. How are you doing, Jeremiah?
I'm doing great.
Good, good. So how long have you been a lender? Why did you become a lender?
Well, I've been a lender. I've been in lending since 2016, and I became a lender ultimately because of just some circumstances in my life that I wanted to do something. Realized that I wanted to do something bigger and better for myself, and I was in a previous employment outside of this industry where I was doing labor-intensive things, and I had an injury that I sustained that kept me out from working, and I just thought, a friend of mine told me, hey, you should come do lending with me. And so I kind of wasn't sure if I could do it or not at the time, but I did ultimately believe in myself and was able to make the change. And yeah, so happy I did and enjoying what I do.
Wow, that's an interesting story. So someone kind of just gave you a recommendation and then...
Yeah, they believed in me.
Mhm.
And I worked on their team for a while, and then, until I ultimately was able to feel confident enough to branch out and do it on my own.
Right, right. So what's the most memorable experience you had with client?
The most memorable things are always the things that are sometimes the most painful. So they're not like it's not like something where it's a happy memory so much, although because most of my transactions are always happy. It's the ones that are the most painful that you usually tend to remember. You're like, oh, don't do that again, or I'm so sorry we went through that. And everybody who's been in this industry long enough, you're gonna have that happen. But thankfully, the best memories are generally ones that I don't always remember because they're just not as memorable because they happen often. But generally, it goes, somebody's grateful we did a good job for them and help them get into home, or help their situation out, whether it's utilizing the the equity that they have in their house and being able to improve their financial situation in some way. So having people express a sense of gratitude towards you is definitely rewarding. It makes this job worth it. Of course, we get paid,
Sure.
but we go above and beyond oftentimes in this industry, and other people that are in lending will know what I'm saying. And
Sure.
we ultimately care about the client, want to get this done for them. So knowing that we got something done for somebody and we're able to accomplish that, that's extremely rewarding.
So what are some odd questions you get from your client?
Well, odd questions, are typically related to lending. Can I do something that is not necessarily illegal or not, but can I be very clever in the way that I try and go about financing? And we're a very regulated industry, and so and they don't know, the intentions aren't always wrong or bad. And so we just, let's say you can or can't do that. But I don't really have, I can't think of anything off the top of my head where it's been, oh, that's been super odd, that you would ask that. Of course, I'm not always the greatest of remembering things. Oftentimes people are like, hey, remember that one time? And I'm like, oh yeah. So perhaps there's a lot more that I'm forgetting, but maybe it's good that I forgot it.
So what's your favorite restaurant in this neighborhood?
My favorite restaurant is certainly the Flight Deck
Okay.
off by the Salem Airport, which is right over here actually. And it's not necessarily because the food's the best, although they got really good food. It's more about the atmosphere. The Flight Deck is the old Salem Airport. I don't know the year that they stopped using it as an actual airport, but it's the old airport, so it's a nice setting, scenery. Indoors, there's just a bunch of windows, and you're looking over the taxi area and the takeoff and landing of the two runways that are located at the Salem Airport. But then there's a deck setting too, and one of probably my favorite place to eat that I can really think of here is sitting out there on a summer night or evening and just enjoying it, watching the planes come and go, and seeing the different type of aircraft that come in. And a lot of people in Salem may not realize it, but there's some pretty cool aircraft that come in that are taking some VIPs in the area. So it's kind of cool to see them.
So they're kind of a private owned right now?
The Salem Airport?
Yeah.
Salem Airport, no, it's a public airport, but yeah, if you see a jet coming in, it's a private jet.
Yeah.
And everybody, there's some aircraft there that are part of a club and people that own their
Got
own
it.
personal aircraft. But it's
I
just
see.
fun seeing all the different types of different aircraft people have.
So what do you do for fun when you're not working?
When I'm not working, I guess I'm doing all types of different activities, and it depends on the time of year. Obviously, summertime is I'm doing a lot more stuff outside. Going to the lakes, enjoying Oregon, and experiencing and exploring the different things that we have that Oregon has to offer. I love going to the lakes and swimming and do all type of stuff. Wintertime, sometimes I'm snowboarding or not as active as much outside, of course, because it's raining often. But if I can, I'm going to the gym or I'm going, playing, some tennis or something like that. So,
Nice.
there's all types of little things we can do. I generally try and stay active if I can, just because I've just always kind of been that way.
I see. So, what's your most challenging things in your life?
Most challenging things in my life.
Mm,
Well, things that I'm fine with saying are, well, this is, a lot of people relate to this, but fear for sure. Fear of doing, fear and being content with your current state. So those would be the most challenging. So fear is keeping you from doing the things you need to do, but also being content where you're at and saying, oh, I'm okay. I'm only here and not focused and staying driven. But of course, fear could, in all walks of life, whether it's just all areas in your life, whether it's, my current job, I don't want to call these people, something hard, or, I'm afraid I'll get rejected by these individuals, whatever. But, of course, that can keep you from growing and being the person that you really should be. So I have to constantly have that in my head. I got to push past this. I need to be better than what I am. And when you do that, you get such a good sense of accomplishment too, and you grow quite a bit. So, and this career, being in lending has really provides consistent opportunities to be able to choose if you want to do that or not.
Sure.
So,
what's your goal for next year or next 5 years?
Oh, well, goal, of course, consistently growing, in business. Me and a group of other individuals here started here at Nexa Mortgage. Actually, we switched companies here back in November, and we joined in from going from retail to the broker world. And really, it's providing some opportunities that we didn't have before that we're really happy to take to participate in and be able to take advantage of in many ways. And so it's just really about getting your bearing straight, but also focusing on a handful of things, not grabbing too much at once because you get overloaded. It's a lot. So it's really focusing, getting those in, and then growing. So growing, of course, the business. We want to be able to help as many clients as we can, and be able to provide jobs for everybody on our team, but as well as growing our team. We think we have a great opportunity, as everybody does, and everybody should. But we think not only do we have a great opportunity, but we have an unusual opportunity in a good way, that people would really like to join and be a part of what we're doing. And we're always happy to present that to anybody who's a lender who would be interested in checking and seeing what we're doing. And so growing that aspect is huge. And then of course personal goals and getting some things accomplished of mine as well. I enjoy flying. I had to take some time off from finishing my pilot's license. I pretty much got most of it all completed except for a handful of things. So I'm not trying to get in it as a career. So it wasn't something that I had to get finished right away. I was being a lot of pressure on, but I took a little time off, got all my flight hours, pretty much everything except for one thing before I take my exam. And so there's that. And then, there's other course, constant investing opportunities that I'll take part into in the next, couple of years, 3 to 5